Affectionately known as the Glamazon Mom, she is a 22-year gospel music industry veteran and president of EFG Promotions and Consulting, a radio promotions and branding company. Her career includes 17 number one chart-topping hits, over 100 top 30 singles at radio, and has worked with the top artists like Smokey Norfolk, CeCe Winans, Ty Tribbett, and Jacqueline Carr. Motivational speaker, radio and TV personality, entrepreneur, and moderator for this evening. Here's our host, Ebony Funderburk.
Hello, I'm Ebony Funderburk, and welcome to Conversations That Continued, sponsored by the One Voice Initiative. Made up of artists and industry professionals like myself, the One Voice Initiative includes representation from many gospel and Christian record companies and industry organizations like the Gospel Music Association, who is also a co-sponsor of today's broadcast. The vision of the One Voice Initiative is to help create space for honest conversations that lead not only to the creation of music that speaks to our time, but also brings forth lasting healing and unity in the church community and our country. And speaking of creating music that speaks to our time, we have an amazing panel of guests today that set out on a purpose to do their part in helping bridge the divide and unify the gospel industry and the church community. I want to introduce you to the Legacy 5. When the legendary Cathedral Quartet retired in December of 1999, Scott Fowler and Roger Bennett decided to continue the rich musical tradition of Southern gospel quartet singing. Legacy 5 was organized and had their official debut in January of 2000 in Atlanta, Georgia. And since that day, they have made a major mark on the Southern gospel music world. Immediately, audiences responded overwhelmingly to their four-part harmony and their ability to effectively communicate the message of Christ. And since the quartet's formation, they have established and maintained a firm place at the top of Christian music. Lee Black is Dove and BMI award-winning songwriter with 12 number one songs to his credit, and the founder of Legacy 5, Scott Fowler. Please say hello, everybody. Just wave so they know who you are. Hey. And then we also have one of my favorite people, the president of Daywin Records, started by his mom, GMA Hall of Famer Dottie Leonard Miller in 1987. Daywin is home to Legacy 5. He's also the vice president of New Day Christian Distributors, distribution home to the Wardlaw brothers. And he serves on the board of GMA, Christian Music Trade Association, and others. Please welcome Ed Leonard. And last but certainly not least, these next guests follow in the footsteps of the Jackson 5 and the Winans. They are another group of 5 biological brothers from Lyons, Georgia. And their latest release, Stand There, debuted number one on the Billboard Gospel Chart and garnered both Stellar and Double Award nominations and a couple of top 20 Billboard Gospel radio hits as well. They are the Wardlaw brothers. Did I say that right? Okay. And so today we're joined by Luther and Tony Wardlaw from the Wardlaw brothers. Hello, everybody.
Oh,
and we are so glad I'm so glad you guys are here, and welcome to Conversations That Continue. You all are an example of how the music can bring us together to support one another and heal. And you found common ground amongst brethren here. And let's take a look at this clip and talk about your latest song, 9 Makes Us One.
Look at life through my eyes, take a walk in my shoes. It may come as no surprise, I heard inside, just thank you. We have no room for hatred if we dare to choose forgiveness. We need love.
Amazing. And the writer of this song, 9 Makes Us One, joins us, and his name is Luther Wardlaw. Luther, tell us about this song and what was your passion behind writing this?
Well, thank you so much, Ebony. And the passion behind the song. This started back in 2015. You know, as we're here on this, we're talking about this, and in 2015, the world witnessed a massacre in Charleston, South Carolina, to where a gentleman walked into a church and murdered 9 people. After that, you know, I think the world suffered behind that. It was definitely a hurtful thing to the Black community, and to everybody who, you know, didn't believe in such violence. So I was asked to write a song for the documentary, centered around love and unity. The first thing that I could think about was, once you start talking about 9 people, that's the first thing I thought about, was the fruit of the Spirit. And love, joy, peace, goodness, faithfulness, patience, kindness, self-control, and gentleness. That's what we needed. And it was meant for Aretha Franklin. And,
Wow.
you know, I got Legacy 5. So, hey.
Love it.
That melody, the melody came to me, and it was just one of those things where we start talking about the love, joy, and peace and goodness. And we wrote the song, and I let the brothers hear it, and they loved it. And, you know, from there, that was basically the passion behind the song. It was that thing that happened there in Charleston, South Carolina, that hurt so many people. And knowing that if Dylan Ruth had been acting out of love, joy, peace, goodness, those things, this never would have happened.
And actually, you wrote the song, and it was written back then, but it sounds like you held it for a little bit before, because we're now getting to experience this song here in this season. Can you tell us a little about why?
Well, I think that is just the timing of God, God's timing. Because as I said, it was written for, Aretha Franklin was originally going to sing it for this documentary. And that didn't happen for whatever reason. They didn't do the documentary. And so we basically just kind of held on to the song for such a time as this.
And Ebony, this is Tony, and I was at the start of the pandemic. I was just kind of going back through our discography of songs and listening down. And this 9 Makes Us One, when it started playing, I was like, God, we got to do something with this, and we need to do something now. And I called Luther up, all of the brothers. We were on a conference call, and I said, we need to do this song. Well, Luther was saying, we can't just do it the Wardlaw brothers. This needs to be, it's a song of unity, so we need to go outside of just the brothers. And it was at that moment, you know, talking with the brothers and going in prayer, I just sent it to our friend there in Nashville, Ed Leonard. I emailed it over to him and just sat back and waited. And sure enough, he hit me back. I love this. I think we've got perfect group. And the next thing, you know, we're on our way to Nashville, and we're in the studio recording this with our brothers, Legacy 5.
That is awesome. Ed, what did you think when Tony had sent you this song and gave, you know, was speaking about the idea of, hey, we need some people to come in on this that don't look like us, and what we're trying to do here, unify?
The first thing I did was I did a math equation in my head, and I'm like, 9 makes us one. We need 9 guys. And I thought the Wardlaw brothers had 4. And I knew Legacy 5 had 5. And I was wrong. It's actually 10 makes us one. But really there was no hesitation as to the group that it needed to be paired with, because I know the hearts of the guys in Legacy 5. And I know that they always love to step out and kind of tackle these things, you know, these issues in our society, and everything that they sing about is obviously gospel based, but it doesn't just end there. The message goes into the lives of the people that they're trying to communicate to. I couldn't think of a better artist to pair the Wardlaw brothers up with than Legacy 5. It was just a natural.
And Lee and Scott, when you first received this song, what were your thoughts when you listened to the words?
I think my thoughts were the same that Ed's was. When he first heard the song, my thoughts were, I love this. Please tell me you want us to be a part of this. In fact, I think I told Ed Leonard, do not let any other artist hear this song. This one is for Legacy 5. And we had never met the Wardlaw brothers, but I could not wait to be a part of this special moment. I grew up in Ferguson, Missouri. And when all of this stuff was going on there, I sat in my home here in Franklin, Tennessee, and I watched it, and I recognized every intersection that they showed on television. And I went to Ferguson Middle School, and my best friends growing up were Black kids. And 1984 is when I graduated. Even back then, we didn't see color in our school. We were just friends. 40% of my high school was Black kids. I wrestled with them. I was in choir with them. And to this day, I stay in touch with a few of them that are great friends of mine. And so we never saw color. We never saw race. We just saw people we loved. We just saw our friends. And so to see what's going on now, honestly, I think that we're in danger of having the worst race relations in America that we've seen since the 60s. And we just want to be a part of the solution, not part of the problem.
That's good. Lee?
Yeah, it was the same thing. It's like what Luther said when Scott sent us the song and told us the heart behind it. Just that idea that if we would live love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control, there would be no race issues if we lived those things. And so just hearing the song and going, that's something I want to be a part of. I want to get that message out.
Did y'all think that there would be any response that may not be favorable with this pairing?
I didn't think so. This is Tony. When we talked about it, what came to mind was, we are the world. We accepted there to be we just felt like the mood and the tenor of what was happening in our nation and the world, it was ready for this song. So we just had no reservations about doing this. We were just grateful to be able to come together with our brothers and be able to present this, out to the masses and pray that it would be a source of hope and inspiration.
So how has the response been? And has it led to any other conversations that you've had centered around this issue of race and community and unifying? I see y'all smiling over there. So
it's funny. It's so funny that you asked that. It's been received well. We are here in a very small city called Lyons, Georgia. It's Lyons and Valley. That's Toombs County. When the Wardlaw brothers leave to go and do ministry, they basically turn all the lights out in the city because we're it.
That's how small it is.
That's how small it is. Ain't nobody else there.
Hilarious.
But there there's several churches that we've been here. We've been doing this for 20 years.
20 years. And
we've been right here, and we've never been invited to certain places. But this song was heard by one of the you hate to say white church and black church, but it's just the way it is. One of the white churches here invited us just a couple Sundays ago. And we were over there, and his message were, he heard this song. It moved on his heart to say, I gotta do something different. And he invited this black man to minister at his church for the first time. And he said, and his message was about love. And he said, one of the things that he said was, I grew up in this box. I grew up in a box, and you know what? I felt like my box was better than everybody else's box. This is the box that I grew up in, but you know, when you start talking about love, we have to crack that box open and let love spill out to everybody and be acceptable. And we need to, you know, we need to understand that our box is not better than everybody's. It's just, it should be about love. And that was a very powerful message that morning. And it was sparked from him hearing this song.
This song. That's incredible. And Lee Scott, how has it been on your side of the fence as people have been hearing this song? What has been the responses for you guys?
Well, I'm gonna tell you that I've not heard anything negative, but that does not mean that negative thoughts aren't swirling around in some heads out there. I, unlike the Wardlaw brothers, did expect to frankly have some pushback. I haven't had it yet, but I'm 54 years old, and I'm just going to kind of be blunt. I don't really care if people don't get it. I have got to go to sleep at night, and I've got to wake up every morning knowing that the same creator who created the black man and the black woman is the same creator who created the white man and the white woman. His breath breathed the breath of life into all of us. And I don't necessarily expect sinners to act right, but I do expect believers and Christ followers to act right. I expect them to act like Jesus. And Jesus loves us all. He looks on the heart, the character, the content of the heart. And that's what I want to be guilty of.
And I've heard
that's good. Go ahead.
Heard no negative reaction. And, you know, I was thinking about it again, one of those things of going, this is something that I want to be a part of because I so believe in this message. But as a believer, I mean, this is just scripture. How do you argue with the fruit of the Spirit? And then as a non-believer, even if you don't live love, joy, peace, patience, the fruit of the Spirit, if you don't live those under the unction of the Spirit, how do you argue against living love and peace and patience and kindness to your brother? I mean, how do you argue against that? I've heard nothing negative, and I just hope that it's a message that we continue to live and get out there.
And it doesn't have to be negative. I was just asking the questions because, you know, oftentimes when we unify under an umbrella, you know, there are people that question the why behind it. Is it necessary? You know, how is this just a moment? Let's talk about what steps. Yeah, go ahead, Lee.
Well, I do think it's about intentionality. I was thinking, you know, when Luther, you said white church, black church, whatever, you know, I think Dr. King said that the most segregated hour in Christian America is 11 o'clock on Sunday mornings. And so I think this is about intentionality, and it's not going to just happen. It's got to be intentional. We've got to reach out across the aisle and go, we are one, you know, and it can't just happen. We've got to make it happen. And so I know it's just a song, but it's a step in going, this is something. We're one.
Yes.
So.
Love that. Ed, jump in here because you walk on a label side of the fence. And just as Lee was talking about the intentionality behind it, you saw a moment where, you know, you felt there needs to be intentionality with bridging these two groups together behind this song because of the message. Talk a little bit about that.
I remember having a conversation with Larry Blackwell from EMI 20 some years ago. And we were talking about, he headed the gospel division over there, or was pretty high up in the gospel division. And we were talking about groups that travel parallel paths. So the Wardlaw brothers, they work primarily in concerts and churches. The churches they sing in are black churches typically. And the same thing is true with Legacy 5. And those paths don't cross very often. But they're all working for God in the same direction with each other. It's just parallel, and they don't intersect. So we were talking about, possible television specials and collaborations and things like that 20 years ago. And it just, until this came about, until Luther sent me that song, I was so excited about it. I knew Legacy 5 was the right group. I knew that we do soundtracks for people to sing to popular songs in churches. And one of those lines is Soulful Sounds, and Tyrone Dickerson is the producer of that. Great, talented guy. And I brought it to him and said, hey, we really want you to produce this. And he made sure that, we have a collection of musicians in the room that represent both sides. It was truly an integrated collaboration in every sense of the word. And then when we went out to publicize this and get media interested, Benita Bellamy Kelly worked alongside of us, along with Kyle Johnson, who's our marketing guy here at Daywind, and to find the outlets on the Southern Gospel side, to find the outlets on the gospel side, to make this all work. And they've done joint interviews with radio stations from gospel music, for the program Gospel Music, to Southern Gospel Music. Probably the thing that I was most blessed by was we took this to Sirius XM, and at the same day, on the same day at the same time, all three Christian channels, The Message, Kirk Franklin's Praise, and Sirius XM's Enlighten, debuted this song.
Wow.
And I don't know that they've ever done that before. So, we've had Singing News Magazine which is the Southern Gospel magazine, just did a 3-page feature on the collaboration. And, we've been blessed with the response. And hopefully, the way to get the message out is just to hear the song and see the video and read about how it works, and then to do things like this, which, basically just explains how they all got together and what magic was created when they got in the studio together.
I love it. So we're talking about intentionality, and when we're talking about reaching across in different genres to create a unified look for the gospel, what would be your suggestions for how others can do this within both of your communities, within the Southern Gospel and within the gospel communities? How can we come together more often to create these kinds of moments where we're making the statements that we're unifying, we're making the statements and saying we're unifying behind a certain issue? How do we do that? How can we encourage others to do this?
Well, what we did is somewhat of a template. I mean, you just have to do it. I think all of us have to think about the message and what it is that we're really trying to do, and the message that we're portraying, the message of the gospel, the good news of Jesus Christ. It cannot be about us. If you're looking for fame and fortune, if that is your angle, if that's what you're in it for, then for Luther to be able to say, no, this can't be about just the Wardlaw brothers. This is God's song. It's got to be bigger than us. We got to share this, and we got to bring in some of our brothers so that we can deliver the message that God calls us to do. I think it's got to be deliberate. And you talk about intentional. It's got to be intentional, as our Savior is intentional. We've got to purposefully do these things. And we see from the way our nation is and the way things are now that it is necessary. And I just believe that God is calling for those of us who He blesses with these kinds of opportunities to really do His will and not ours.
Amen.
Well, and it takes, if I could add, it takes leadership. And I think you have to lead. And that's what these guys have done. All of them have taken a leadership role and said, you know what, let's lead on this issue. I'm convinced that there are a lot of peers among us that are just wanting permission to do something like this. Perhaps they're a little timid. Maybe they don't have a strong leader in their ranks, and they're just kind of waiting for someone else maybe to do it. And so we're all glad, again, to be a part of that solution, to say, let's collectively come together and lead on this issue. Let's show the world what we expect, that we expect something better. And I'm just proud to be a part of a team of guys that are leaders.
I love that.
Thanks, Scott.
Oh, thank you, Scott.
And let me go ahead and publicly apologize too to the guys at the Wardlaw brothers, because can you imagine their disappointment when Aretha said no?
Oh, I know. I thought you were kidding. I've never heard that story. Oh my God. I didn't know
Can
that.
you imagine the disappointment?
Oh wow.
But God had a plan. He had a plan
Yes,
for this moment.
His ways are not our ways.
His ways are not our ways.
His thoughts are not our
That's correct.
His plan just did not involve 3-figure royalties. Sorry, fellas.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh boy.
Well, moving forward, what is the plan for this song and maybe more songs in the future that you're collaborating with other artists? What's the plan? Where do we go from here?
I mean, I'll
Not
step
everybody
up.
at once.
No, I'll step up
Okay.
and say that, you know, we really want to make the most of this opportunity that we have. And then hopefully what we'll see is things come up. Like I can totally see Lee and Luther writing together, you know, creating songs together. Sorry, Luther, I didn't clear that through you first, but I'm just saying this is going to happen. Lee's one of our writers, so Lee, this is going to happen, right?
Hey, I want that.
Yeah, and I think that once you start down that road, I think that like Scott was saying, it really frees everybody else up to get outside of their box. You know, it frees them to think, oh my goodness, you know, I mean, it's a distinctive song that, based on the way it's recorded, can live in one world or the other, and hopefully those worlds start to merge a little bit, because that's the goal of this. But I can see with them doing the cross promotion that they're doing across the different genres, and now having relationship with each other, that, you know, you could have concerts together, or appearances, you could have more songs written together. You know, who knows what can come of it.
I love it. And that is what happens when you bring two communities of faith together under one intention, which is to unify and to love one another and to portray the fruits of the Spirit. I love 9 makes us one. And that's what this song is about. And that's what these conversations are actually about, because we are living in a very volatile time in our nation. And as carriers of the gospel of Jesus through music, it is our responsibility to be intentional and to be leaders. That's the two big takeaways from this. This doesn't have to stop here. It can move on wherever you guys are. Come together and create a bridge through music. Please remember to like and follow and share this conversation on your page, and make sure you turn on your notifications so that you'll be notified the next time we have a conversation, and you can start a discussion of your own. Before we leave out, we want to play one more time. We're going to play the full video right now of 9 Makes Us One. We'll be right back.
Look in my hands, they're just like yours. These eyes you see shed tears, just like yours. Your heart hurts, well, so does mine. Not really a difference between you and I. is no need for hatred. There is no need to live that way. We need love, joy, and peace. We need goodness. Just a little bit of goodness. It will take you and me, and faith, patience and kindness, self-control and gentleness. Live with these. We're gonna see. Look at life through my eyes. Take a walk in my shoes. It may come as no surprise. I hurt inside just like you. We have no room for hatred. If we dare to choose forgiveness, we need love. Self-control and gentle. Live with these, and we will see. We will see that God makes us whole. Joy, and we need goodness. It will take you and me, and faithful, patient, kindness, self-control. Live with me, we will see. None makes us one. Look at my hands, they're just like yours. These eyes you see shed tears.
Guys, that was amazing. I love this song. What was it like to meet for the first time in the studio to collab on this song?
I'll say first, it was a little intimidating because these guys are amazing singers, and I thought, oh no, because they laid some of their vocals down first, and then we laid some of our vocals down, and then we kind of all got together and did like big gang vocals on that chorus, and I was sitting there going, why couldn't I have gone first? Now I got to follow these amazing singers. But I tell you, by the end of the day, I mean, we had not met until that day, and I felt like I walked out with 5 new brothers and just left there with this sense of, I want to go on tour with these guys. I just love it. So,
and you know, we were very excited about it, and it was real easy because when we got there, Scott came in with his notepad and had everything written out and said who was going to sing what. And so
let me tell you, let me confess why I did that. This is going to sound so stereotypical, but it is so true. I listened to how you guys sang each of those lines, and I said, the one line that sounds the whitest belongs to me. That's the only one I can do. And so I assigned the white line to me, and the lines that needed some real heart and soul remained for the Wardlaw brothers. So
Oh my God,
I knew if I didn't do that, you would assign some line to me that I was incapable of singing because I have no soul whatsoever.
But I love how you
that-
guys have
they
found
call
a
that
way to coexist. Go
They
ahead,
call
Ed,
that
I'm sorry.
comparative advantage in business school.
Wow.
But it comes together and it's beautiful. Tony, you were saying?
No, I was just saying, you know, Lee was talking about it being intimidating. Well, that goes both ways.
Yeah, very much so.
But the other part of it is it was so cool because it was our first time meeting them, and to actually get in the studio, and you know, I'm standing there looking at Brian, so Brian singing my part. You know, Luther and Scott's there together, and then you've got Lee and Carl. Our brother Carl, then you've got the two bass guys, you know, Matt and Jamie. And it was just like, wow, this is incredible. You know, like seeing your mirror image that didn't quite look like you, but sounded like you.
Yeah. And the whole thing is, I just think that that's kind of the picture of it and the sound of it.
Amen.
Is what the world would actually look like if we all came together. I think that harmony.
That's good.
You know, understanding that, you know, he said whether two or three gather together in my name, there I will also be there. I would like to believe that that's more than just two people. Sometimes we, you know, I think it's two or more nationalities, two or more groups, two or more, you know what I mean? That whole thing where the two or more together there, I'll be there as well. And then whenever that comes together, I think the sound of that is what America actually looks like when we come together.
That's good. That's good. That's very rich. And if we can create more of those kinds of moments in this and be leaders at doing that within our industries, we could really see some changes happening and hopefully some unification happening and some more love happening amongst all of us. Ed, were you going to say something?
Oh no, these guys have said it all. It was wonderful. I got to step in and watch them do this together, and in the moments that I was there, you just saw these conversations start to happen between individual members of the groups, and of course musically, you got musically they're trying to figure it out on one side, and then you've got just the brothers getting to know brothers. You know, it just and it felt like a big family at the end. By the time you guys were done, it just felt like one group. I mean, it really did. It was like 9 makes us one, just kind of merging in together for one purpose. And it was a beautiful thing to witness from the outside.
And it's so funny you said that, Ed, because on our previous conversations that continue, we talked about doing life with people who don't look like you, to walk it out, to become brothers, and that's how you become compassionate. That's how you can have more empathy towards what's happening with other people in other communities outside of your own. And that takes intentionality. That takes, you know, our stepping across the bridge and saying, come, let's fellowship together. And I love how this song brought two different people together, but what's come out of it is such a strong brotherhood. And you can see it in the conversations that you have here. This is so awesome. And again, guys, once again, everybody, please remember to like and follow and share this conversation on your page. And listen, no conversation is perfect. And sometimes they're challenging, they're divisive, they're thought-provoking. But what we love about music is the language of everybody. Everyone can get on board with the music. So come together, find commonality there, and hopefully that can help bridge and unify our communities around the true gospel of Jesus. And of course, to start conversations that continue. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. We so love this. This was awesome. 9 makes us one. How do we get in touch with all of you guys? Let me go ahead and ask that. If somebody wants to follow you on your socials or contact you on your management to book you, how can we do that?
Well, I'll just go ahead and say, and I know Legacy 5 have their social media and everything, but we also have 9makesus1.com. That's www.9makesus1.com. And that is the number 9 and the number 1, or you can spell it out, either one. And from there, you can actually go to Legacy 5 website and social media, and the Wardlaw Brothers website and social media. But the Wardlaw Brothers is TWB5.com, and all of our social media is there as well.
And
Awesome.
ours is just our name, Legacy 5, F-I-V-E, legacy5.com.
Awesome. And Ed, if somebody wants to send you a song, I'm sorry, I'm not going to put you on the spot like that.
Send it to Luther. Apparently if Luther sends it, it gets done.
So we're going to send it to Luther. Send it to him. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. And everybody, we'll see you the next time right here on Conversations That Continue.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye.
What can you do? Continue the conversation. Make efforts to talk with someone that doesn't look like you or live in your circle. Stay up on our ongoing conversation. Like and follow this page to receive notifications of future conversations that continue. Like and share our post on your page to start your own conversations with friends and family.